And we're back, and tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about devotional offerings. So, as both a devotee of Hekate, as a priestess of Hekate, and as a torchbearer in the covenant of Hekate, devotional offerings are core practice. When I teach about deity devotion, and when I teach in the prison, or when I used to lead a coven, essential work is devotional offerings to deities, to build relationship with deity. And I make it very, very plain. How do you build a friendship with another human being? Energy, time spent, talking, going out together, sharing time together. And it's pretty much the same thing when developing relationship with your chosen deity. For myself, primarily, of course, it is Hekate. But as a hard polytheist, I absolutely have left offerings. Maybe not on a regular basis, on a daily basis with other gods or goddesses, but I do leave offerings for other deities as well. Now, with the first thing that I do for devotional offerings, it is my personal practice to use a bit of powdered cinnamon here for cleansing. And what you can do is sprinkle a little bit on a palm and then rub your hands together. And this is an old Roman way of cleansing the body and going before the gods in a cleansed state is good practice. We might not have the ability to take a ritual shower every single time, especially if it's a daily practice. So a little bit of cinnamon between your hands, rubbing your palms, and repeating the following. May my body be as pure as my heart. May my heart be as pure as my mind. May my mind be as pure as my spirit. May my spirit be as pure as my soul. May my soul be as pure as the gods, the workings of the gods, the doings of the gods, the beings of the very gods themselves. Let me be pure. Let me be pure. Let me be pure. And that is a little charm that I learned from Jack Grail. My own personal practice does consist of the sorcery of Hekate, and I do that within the shared space of the sanctuary, but I don't light my sanctuary candle. So as a torchbearer, you can, within the covenant of Hekate, you can choose to open a sanctuary. And in that ritual that every torchbearer does, there will be a particular candle. So when I do my personal work, that candle remains unlit. And then when I'm done with what the requirements are for the sorcery of Hekate, I then incorporate the sanctuary by lighting the candle for the portion of the offerings. And I always get the question of what do we offer? When we do public ritual, what do we bring? What can we offer? And you offer what you have, right? My typical standard offering are eggs and honey. There aren't honey on those eggs. And last night, this has been sitting here for a day, and it will go to the crossroads tomorrow. I just got a little bit creative. And I used a bit of what I have. So there's brie cheese, and there's a clementine, and there's some fun cookies, and oregano, and basil, and olives. And there will be some incense. And while I did not have any wine, I did have some pure spring water. So for this portion, I have lit the candle for the sanctuary because we're moving on to the offerings. And so I did, while the video was off, did my particular offerings. I've lit the incense. So your offerings, your devotionals can be as simple as a glass of water, a cookie, a stick of incense. And you can also offer songs, hymns, the Orphic hymn to Hekate, even something that you wrote yourself. What I often offer for a devotional for the sanctuary is the Orphic hymn to Hekate that I learned in Greek. Now, I am not a native Greek speaker, obviously. I've learned this phonetically. And I do tend to think that it's about the effort, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. I try to make it as close to what it sounded like when I learned it. And I'm probably off with some of the pronunciation, but this is what's coming from my heart, learning it in the native tongue of this particular goddess, just as I have learned songs in Irish Gaelic for an Irish Gaelic goddess. It's an offering, it's a devotional. So I'm going to be brave and sing it here, but we're going to look at my offerings and not me when I do it. So those of you that know the Orphic hymn to Hekate begins with Hekate of the path, I invoke thee, right? And instead I will sing it in Greek. Inorian Hekatin kleiso Triovitin eranin Uranian Chthonian Tekinalian Kroko peplon Timvidian Sehesnekion Metabakekusan Persian Fileriman Agalomeni Nelafisi Nictirian Skilakitin Amemacheton Vasilion Therobromon Azostan Apros Mahoivos Echusan Tavropolon Pantos Cosmos Cleevuchan Anasan Heimonin Nymphin Korotrofan Oresifiti Lysos menos Corin Telete Sociese Parene Bukoloi Emeniosan Te Kehariho Tithimoi. And that is one example of Kitty. Hi, Ivor. You want to sing for Hekate too? Come on in, baby. That is one example of a devotional. Make it yours, make it unique, and I think you'll get a lot of fulfillment out of it.